All right, hello and welcome to Not Replaced Yet Office Hours. My name is Nick Bushcar. I'm here with my brother Jesse. Say hello, Jesse.
Hello, hello, hello.
And today is, what is today? Thursday, May 15th. And this is the show that keeps you informed and inspired about all things AI. We run down the daily news headlines regarding in the AI world. And if you are here watching, thank you so much. We're trying to build a community here, and we can't do it without you. If you find this content valuable, please like, subscribe, share, follow. I think I said subscribe and follow. Do both. That's fine. Do both. That's fine. But and most importantly, share. I know I said that, but if you have a friend, someone in your family, a colleague, whoever that you think might benefit from this content, please, please, please share it with them. We need to get the word out to as many people as possible. What's going on, man? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. We hit 50 subscribers on YouTube.
We did. We hit 50 subs on YouTube. That's fun. That's good.
Yeah. Loving it.
I'll take that. We got some, you and I, we have to discuss this, but big plans to make that go even faster, sooner.
Get to 51?
51. Holy cow.
I love it. Yeah, lots going on. It's almost Friday. School's almost out. Summer's almost here. I've been talking AI SEO a lot, and a lot of my recommendations have been around installing Bing Webmaster Tools on your website, because Bing underscores ChatGPT's search. And so if you are looking for SEO insights, I think that tool is maybe a better consult than Google Search Console. So, some nerdier marketing, ad ops, tech stuff, but
I like that. I like that. I mean, to me, definitely seems valuable for some content in the near future.
Yeah. Well, so especially because marketers have been aware of Bing Webmaster Tools for a long time, and they've scoffed at it because who cares what Bing does in search?
Of course.
They follow Google, so just if we follow Google, then so will they. And that's for the first time in 20, 30 years, it's not necessarily true. So that's unique.
No, I do think that's really interesting. You know what? Let's jump into the headlines, and we may continue that after the fact. All right. Today is Thursday, May 15th, and in healthcare, Philips Future Health Index 2025 reveals a dramatic surge in AI investment. According to the report, 83% of healthcare leaders globally are now prioritizing AI to meet urgent care demands. Many believe AI is essential to modernizing overwhelmed systems, helping tackle clinician burnout, patient backlogs, and access disparities. The report urges governments and healthcare leaders to act swiftly or risk falling behind more adaptive systems.
Pope Leo XIV made waves this week, spotlighting AI ethics in his first public remarks as the new leader of the Catholic Church. Citing AI's immense potential, quote unquote, immense potential, he emphasized the urgent need for responsible deployment. His comments resonate with concerns from his own community: parents anxious about AI misinformation, teachers combating AI cheating, and workers fearing automation. Analyst suggests his math background and prior interest in digital ethics signal a papacy? I don't know. Papacy that may actively shape the church's voice on AI justice, labor, and human dignity. Super interesting.
Yeah, and in a significant move, the Connecticut Senate passed new AI regulations with bipartisan support. The bill focuses on transparency, consumer education, and accountability. It would establish a division of artificial intelligence within the state's Office of the Attorney General and mandate impact assessments for high-risk AI systems. The bill is expected to face more scrutiny as it moves to the House, but it's part of a broader wave of state-level AI regulation.
There's a word in there I don't know. What is that word, bipartisan? I'm not sure what that means. That's a joke. Canada is making history. Canada is making history with its first ever AI cabinet position. Evan Solomon has been named Minister of Artificial Intelligence and Digital Innovation. The role will focus on national AI strategy, ethics, and industry growth. With this move, Canada joins a growing list of countries formalizing leadership around AI governance, reflecting the technology's strategic importance.
Meanwhile, Esri, a company that makes high-tech mapping tools used by government scientists and emergency responders, is rolling out major AI upgrades. These updates will combine real-time satellite data with AI language models, making it faster and easier to map disasters, monitor national security risks, and plan smarter cities. Experts say this fusion of AI and geography could become the backbone of how we manage infrastructure in the future.
And picking up from a story last week around patents and intellectual property in the private sector, Google has officially taken the lead in AI patent filings. New data shows Google now tops the charts for generative and agent-based AI patent applications, surpassing IBM. Experts say the shift reflects the tech giant's aggressive push into autonomous agents, aiming to dominate next-gen productivity tools.
And lastly, the FBI has issued a public warning about deepfake scams. Malicious actors are using AI to impersonate senior U.S. officials in text and audio messages, tricking victims into revealing personal data. The agency urges heightened vigilance as the tools behind these scams grow more convincing and widespread. This marks a new chapter in AI-driven cybercrime and an urgent challenge for regulators and the public alike. And that is all for today's AI news headlines. I mean, there's a bunch of interesting stuff in there today. I got to admit, the Pope coming out strong, talking about AI. That's an interesting one. Leo and more state level regulations. I think that's going to continue. I think we're going to see state after state. I mean, we are. Unabashedly a U.S. focused show here, but with a global look, of course. But definitely I think state level AI regulations are going to be the norm. And I do think something that I'm excited about, and I do hope that it actually, I'm interested to see where this is in maybe 6, 12, 18 months, the Esri updates, the AI rollout for the high-tech mapping tools. I think that'll be interesting. And us being in the Southeast, we have, the threat of hurricanes every year. We have the California wildfires, not we, but, there are all the natural disasters across the country and the world. I think that could be really helpful and interesting.
Funny, I thought I recognized Esri. I think Esri handles our Chatham County where we live, our Chatham real estate. The website Sagis, sagis.org. And so like if you want to look up your neighbor's property value and when it sold last, it's a county resource and you can look that up. And I believe Esri is the company behind that. I had never put that together.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
High-tech mapping for governments.
Yeah, I'm looking here because they're the ArcGIS system. And I don't know if they're open source. No, it doesn't look like they're open source. I've definitely come across them in the past. Maybe it's with, you know what it is for me? It's been with some of that documentary work I've done. We've done you know what I'm talking about? Anyways.
Yeah, blended stuff.
So, I'm getting a phone call from spam. All right. Question. So you were doing, I'm interested in the AI SEO space, right? And you brought that up before the news. So there's the Bing Webmaster Tools or whatever the tool is called. What'd you say?
Yeah, that's it.
And
Bing Webmaster.
I think that there is a real space to dive into that, especially to try and guide people in what they're doing. And I don't know if you have. I know I'm telling you to say it out loud off the top of your head, but are there other things that you're looking at right now? I mean, more, and I know in the past you have said, just keep making good content. That's fine. That's fair. Yeah. But like real, actual, like sort of like tactical, technical update tools, like going to Bing Web Tools, that's a new recommendation, right? Is there anything else like that that's on your radar at the moment where you're like, everyone who's doing AI SEO or SEO for, LLMs, is there something that you're thinking about recommending, etc.?
I mean, this is not the same category of recommendation as a Bing Webmaster Tools, but I do think it's worth, like, some people need to hear it, is stop thinking so much in keywords and think in questions and answers. The keyword, like, think about the search indexing that has gone on in the past as just a rudimentary AI, right? It's trying to understand and map and structure your data for user consumption. and it's trying to understand the intent. In fact, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years ago, search intent was the big new entry into SEO, where it's like, yeah, you could rank for something, but if yours is a product and the search is and the user intent for this search is information, then it doesn't matter how good you are, you aren't going to rank highly. The AI today, if Bing or whatever scrapes or the LLM accesses the content, it's a smarter version of the indexer that came before it. It's going to understand user intent with nuance, more nuance than any of the previous generations. And so writing questions and answers that are like writing for humans is how these tools, like it's what these tools do, is understand and respond and parse natural language, right? And so that example, I think you were still on the call the other day when we were speaking with that one client where they said they got a lead from ChatGPT, they got a phrase, they were able to speak to this individual because the individual reached out as a B2B company, so a high value sale. They spoke to him. He said, "Oh yeah, well this is what I put into ChatGPT," and they looked on their site, and that phrase that he included is not on the site. It is not a direct text to text like connection like traditional SEO is. When you're talking traditional SEO, we're putting phrases in there to match what people will search for. And in this instance, someone searched for something or queried something that was not on the site, and they still came up because of the intent kind of like fuzzing, right? And so it just makes it really, really difficult. So questions, not terms. Think that the search engines are much smarter than you've ever given them past credit for. And then there is one other one that I'm off on a tangent that I wanted to come back to. We've got Bing Webmaster Tools, we've got questions and answers, we've got writing quality content, and just content volume. One mistake I see is people overthinking and over preciousing their content to say, well, we need the one right blog post for this quarter or something, right? If you're leveraging these tools, leverage them for speed and scale of content. And that doesn't mean like automate a pipeline. I worked with a technology company that was publishing sometimes 100,000 new URLs a month. I mean, they were aggressive, and it worked really, really well until the bottom fell out. But certainly you should be posting dozens of posts per month if you are serious about content marketing, if you're serious about really like blanketing it, because, and again, I don't know, maybe not again, but like most of these questions have come from B2B companies that we work with. And so I've tuned my answers to a B2B space, which is a higher dollar customer. But if you have those high dollar customers, it doesn't really matter how they come in. If that $1 million or $100,000 LTV customer comes in, it's well worth the one-off blog post that was very niche, but answered that person's one very specific question. So think content volume needs to be at a pace and an amount that, I mean, it's my fishing analogy. The more lines in the water you have, and that's what pieces of content are, the more likely you are to catch a fish. So kind of a blunt object there, but
I agree with all that. I think all that makes sense. I'm just to sort of add on, and this is very unformalized. I'm kind of like brainstorming out loud here. So one thing that I want to add on to your, so there's the idea of programmatic SEO. And when I think of programmatic SEO, I think of you essentially are automatically creating endless amounts of blog posts or pages or whatever, kind of the same thing in a way. And you're creating a giant list of maybe a spreadsheet of topics, and then you use an LLM to expand those topics, and then you use the LLM to, fill in the content for those topics, and so on and so forth. And you set up a programmatic way to post them. So that's one thing. But inside that, like you said, Google is very much on top of that, and they have tweaked their algorithm to support, punish or, what's the word? Punish, or what's the opposite of punish?
Reward.
Reward. Thank you. Geez.
Mm-hmm.
People for doing that kind of thing. I wonder what Bing is doing about that. I don't know. You also have the recent sort of spat of stories around how ChatGPT is outputting invisible characters, and so people are calling it watermarking the text output, where it's Unicode characters and whatnot. And so, and I saw another report that is maybe going away, but I wouldn't put it past these LLMs to do that on purpose anyways. So there's will they watermark their outputs? And so in my mind, I thought of an extra step of you want to get all of the plain text, and then you would want to do something to clear out that Unicode, the Unicode characters and stuff like that. So there's something around that, like looking for watermarks when you're trying to do that. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling. And then the other thing that popped up is, do you know Gwern? Gwern was on the Dwarkesh podcast a little while ago. He's an interesting character. He's an author. He's an anonymous blogger that's kind of really big in the super nerd expert space. And he wrote, it's Gwern, GWERN.net. And he wrote a blog 2024, what is that, November 30th, called Writing for LLMs So They Listen. And I would say that's pretty early, right? November of 24 is kind of early to talk about exactly that topic. And I remember on the podcast,
right?
I know, talking about the topic where basically saying you should write for LLMs, and LLMs will be the storytellers of the past in the future. And so if you want to show up in the future, if you want to show up when being spoken about, when the past is being spoken about, you should be thinking about writing for the LLMs. And that's an interesting concept. And then I pulled that article up, and there's some topics. 2 bullet points. He says, avoid any easily documented empirical facts or synthesis of documents, especially avoid politics, current news, social media, which will be massively overdone as it is, and emphasize autobiography, unique incidents, quirks, obsessions, intrusive thoughts, fetishes, and perversions. And so I kind of get where it's coming from. You want to think about something that's written about that's not overdone. And that's one way to think about it. But of course, if you're a B2B client thinking about your, whatever service it is you offer, then that's a little harder. You're not going to write about your perversion in that case. It's just an interesting way to think. There's a bunch of other bullet points here, aesthetics and values and preferences. Good design is invisible, better, but I don't know, whatever. Just interesting there. I'm trying to think.
It's like abstraction layers, or it's like different angles on it. Like the writing style is one way you can try to optimize for it. The tactics of how much content volume you put out is another tactic you can optimize against. The feedback loop, like Bing Webmaster Tools, is not going to make you rank better, but it may give you visibility into something you can do. And so it's another will it solve everything? No. Might it be helpful? Yes. And that's kind of a little bit of what we were talking about yesterday leading into our next episode is the unknowns of marketing, the lack of specificity is what makes it hard. Just like a poker game, a little bit of what your hand is, and you have a bunch of information that is obscured from you, and you still have to make decisions on it. And so I think of that with marketing in general, but certainly in this wild west of AI SEO is you try stuff, you see if it works. Did you like the results you got for this? How tight of a feedback loop can you get? That's the way to ride the wave and try not to get left behind on that specific front.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a good place to call it. We've been going for a little long here. So if you're still here, thank you so much. If you have found this in the future, thank you for watching this far in. Please like, comment, subscribe, and definitely if you know someone who would appreciate this type of content, please share it with them. We're trying to get the word out to as many people as possible. I think that's all for today. My name is Nick Bushkar, and this has been another episode of Not Replaced Yet Office Hours. See you tomorrow.
Adios.